All right, so I'll just place it right here.
Yeah.
In regards to how I sleep.
He comes home, kicks dirt on the plate, and then realizes he missed the plate, comes back to touch it, kicks a
some
bunch
more dirt,
dirt on it, and then gets tossed. Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of BR Weekly. I'm Dowdy. I'm here with Garrett this week. We're excited to bring this show to you. Garrett, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
All right, so my name's Garrett Gordon. I've been a baseball rebellion instructor for the past year and a half now. I'm originally from Michigan. Played a little college ball for 2 years. Also played in the Nationals organization for a little bit as well. But I've really enjoyed my time here at Baseball Rebellion. I've learned a lot about hitting instruction and how to kind of develop all players at all ages. And, now we're here doing this show and having a good time with it.
Yeah, we enjoy it. It's one of the moments we look forward to during the week, but we got a good show for y'all today. We're going to talk about the Yankees. They've been on quite the hot streak with the home runs. They hit, I think it was 3 games in a row.
Really
they hit 5 in 1 inning. It's been crazy. We're also going to talk about this expanded playoff format that the MLB is doing. There's talk of it staying around and what implications that'll have on the game. We're going to talk about Josh Donaldson. He hit a home run and then proceeded to get tossed as he crossed home plate.
Sometimes you got to do what you got.
Yeah, you got to do. Yeah, we're going to talk about some questions that we got on Facebook. We got a real good one this week.
Real excited to answer that.
We're going to break down our recruit. His name's Mike Bello. He's got a big swing. He's an outfielder out of New Jersey. And then we're going to look at Garrett's week. The first thing we got for y'all is the Yankees. As I mentioned, they hit 6 home runs 3 games in a row. I believe that was a record. Yep. They also hit 5 in an inning, including like 3 back-to-back-to-back, and I think an out, and then 2 more, something like that. But how scary are the Yankees?
The Yankees are always pretty scary when they're hitting home runs. Now, you gotta remember early September they weren't doing as well, okay? So they weren't hitting as many home runs. They were actually kind of struggling a little bit, winning some ball games, really just kind of putting the ball in play. But, this hot streak of the Yankees hitting home runs, you got all guys in the lineup kind of driving the balls all field. You got DJ LeMahieu hitting opposite field home runs, and then you got Luke Voit, who's really on a hot streak right now. I love his swing with the leg kick, and he kind of hovers out there. It's a really cool look. I really think that gives him some good adjustability. Now, the injuries also have plagued the Yankees as well with Stanton and Judge. Hopefully, they can continue this hot streak of crushing some home runs. Everyone likes the long ball. It's real, cool and showy and everything like that. But sometimes you just got to get down to putting the ball in play and hitting it hard. Now, hitting it over the fence is great, but if you do that only, ever so often, you're not going to win many ball games. So if they keep it up, that's great. Hopefully, it keeps going into the playoffs. But that's kind of the Yankees' MO. They got a lot of power, but are they going to consistently show that once kind of teams figure out how to pitch their guys? It will be interesting to see.
Yeah, in your opinion, do you think that it will translate to the playoffs, or do you think they're maybe just hot right now and they'll burn out?
A lot of things too with hitting home runs all the time. Is that sustainable? Is that something you can do all the time? Pitchers are gonna kind of find ways, to mess up hitters' timings, whether it's, attacking them with good off-speed pitches, pitching them backwards and things like that. So if the Yankees can adjust, that'd be really cool to see. If they don't, I don't know if it's sustainable, like I said. But if it does translate into playoffs, that'll be great for them. But it's just fun to watch the game and see all them home runs being hit. That's really what kind of makes my day, and all that good stuff too.
Yeah, so speaking of playoffs, how about this new expanded playoff format? The MLB is going to 16 teams in the playoffs. They're basically just adding a whole round. What do you think about this, especially if they decide to keep it around for – I get it for the short season, but when we go back to full season, there's a lot of talk of them keeping it.
Well, I think it gives, the MLB to probably generate a little bit more revenue as well, so they probably don't like that, or they probably like that a little bit as well. But in regards to the shortened season, I think for this year – it's a good look to give fans and players an opportunity to showcase their skills. I know a lot of guys that, were at that high minor league level, AAA, AA, they might be getting the call up and they're getting that opportunity to, go in and showcase their skills at the big league level. I think it makes things a little bit interesting, especially the no days off in the wild card series is definitely going to play. Fatigue might set in. Managers are definitely going to have to figure out a way to, get their pitchers in a good position to where, they're not being overpitched so that they can kind of keep going throughout the playoffs. But I think the main thing is these baseball players, I'm assuming they want to play. They've been kind of cooped up this year for sure, with the whole COVID thing going on and everything like that. I think it could be cool for, maybe something, but after 162 games, having that extra series, might, either cause some injuries or kind of bog some players down. So we'll kind of see.
Yeah, see, now I have heard, I don't think this is like set in stone, but I heard that they may reduce the season to like 150 or 144 games in order to add that in. The thing about that is that totally changes the numbers that guys can get in a season. So I saw something the other day about Mike Trout. How many home runs will he end up with in his career? And if they were to take off a bunch of regular season games, that could potentially come to hurt guys like that who are looking for these big career numbers.
Yeah, you made a good point there with the old Mike Trout. I love that guy's swing too. But I think the main thing is with the whole extended playoffs, it does give some lower seeded teams that maybe have had some ups and downs a good opportunity to go out and get it. Now, in regards to what you said about the regular season games and that being shortened a little bit, with Mike Trout especially, he's a really good example. Making sure, all right, that the guys that are staying hot, hopefully they can kind of carry that off into the playoffs as well. But the shortened season, I think 150 games still is a lot of games. Yeah. I think people kind of forget that, and after you've played baseball for 3-4 months at a time, maybe this extended playoff could be too much. But like you said, if they do shorten it a little bit, that would be maybe a pretty good look.
Josh Donaldson, I loved this. I loved watching this. But so basically, in his at bat, he got a strike called on him that he thought was definitely outside. And then on the next pitch or the one after that, proceeds to smash a home run. Absolutely smashed it. He comes home, kicks dirt on the plate, and then realizes he missed the plate, comes back to touch it, kicks a bunch more dirt on it, and then gets tossed. What do you think about it?
I think it's great. I think that definitely is on point for Josh Donaldson on who he is as a player. He's kind of always had that chip on his shoulder, plays aggressive, plays with a lot of heart, cares about the game. But a lot of things too is like these umpires, aren't really they're not really accountable for their actions. So so like there's umpires too where that still that have made some really terrible calls in the past that some have ruined guys' careers.
Yeah,
right?
I just think of the imperfect game. That,
exactly.
And
if umpires can't handle a little bit of backlash, well, that's kind of on them. All right, Josh Donaldson, he didn't like the pitch. All right, and he made his presence known that he did not like that call. But then again, he did just hit a home run too, and things kind of played in his favor as well. Is it too showy? Is it setting it a good example for kids? Well, I don't know. I think it's a great reaction to how he was feeling in that moment. He was probably hyped up. He probably got a little back towards the umpire as well, which is great. But the main thing is he did hit a home run, and I don't know if the Indians did they win that game?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if they went ahead to win that game. But like I said, players should feel free to express themselves on how they want. Whether they're unhappy with the umpire's calls, that's fine. But then again, he did hit a really nice home run.
But now, from the ump side, you've got a guy clearly disrespecting you. Like, you can't just let players, walk all over you. You can't let them just kick dirt around over the plate, completely show you up. You can't just let them do it.
That's true, and I think the umpire ended up getting his because he did end up tossing Donaldson as well. Yeah. Okay, but then again, umpires need to be held more accountable, especially since they got the whole automated strike zone as well. You can kind of see where the ball actually is. Now, in real life, umpires, they're only human. They make mistakes. Same thing with hitters, It's like umpires make a bad call. Well, sometimes hitters take fastballs right down the chute as well. But like you said, you don't want the players to walk all over the umps and everything like that. But it was an interesting thing to watch, very entertaining to watch. But umpires, I guess, they got to stand their ground too. But it kind of goes back and forth on, what kind of, what perspective you look at it. As a hitter, you're out there, trying to make money, help your team win and everything like that, and get a couple bad calls, that's really going to frustrate you. I know it frustrated me as a player. And, in my past, I've had some very choice words towards umpires as well as at all levels. But I think the umpire reacted fine to it. Donaldson completely disrespected him completely, and sometimes you just got to, bite the bullet. And, if you get tossed after hitting a home run, I know that's the first time that I've ever seen that.
I'm surprised he didn't come back and kick dirt on the umpire's shoes or something.
It is what it is at that point. But the main thing is, if you don't like the call, that's how you want to express, and then whatever.
Just know that there could be consequences.
Yeah, there's always consequences to your actions. That is a fact right there. All right, guys, so we got a couple questions, I think, from Facebook, right, Dowdy?
Yeah, they're both from Facebook. Our first one is, actually, I think both of them are in reference to our rack bat. One is about, well, I'll just let you see. The first question comes from Marty. He says, does this not teach you that the first movement is to pull your shoulder? My son pulls, and we've been working hard on getting out of it. Won't this just reinforce it? What do you say about that?
Okay, so really anything done incorrectly will reinforce bad habits. Now, if you pay attention to how we teach what we do with the Rebels rack and the rack bat, if you really focus on working under your shoulders versus opening up and working across your shoulders, that's going to make a really big difference. Now, if you are really excessive with that front shoulder move with the rack bat, you're not going to hit the ball anyways. Okay? So for you to correctly stay in a hinged position with your chest over and to really try to work out towards the pitcher with your direction will allow you to hit, some of the softballs that you can hit with the rack bat. Okay? If you do anything incorrectly, it's going to reinforce bad habits. But if you pay attention to how we use it and the results that we get with it, right in these cages behind us here on a day-to-day basis, you'd see and find that, the front shoulder has to move. It's just kind of a matter of how it has to move. Now, a lot of times, kids will be tall, they'll open up with their front side, and then all their directions going to their pull side, okay? Versus the way we want you guys to do it, working under your shoulders. Yes, we want your back shoulder to drop a little bit. That's a common thing that, coaches kind of spew out when they see pop-ups. Oh, you're dropping your back shoulder, this, yada, yada, whatever, okay? But the main thing is there's a right way to turn your shoulders into the zone, and then there's a wrong way, okay? The rack bat does not reinforce it if you do it correctly. The shoulders have to move, okay? They have to move.
Yeah, so Garrett actually coaches my brother. Yep. And that's one thing that he really struggled with a lot was he would just spin around and he wouldn't really get through a pitch. And the rack bat's been the main, I would say, tool that they've used to correct that, actually.
It gives hitters a good visual, too. Like, you can definitely work different angles like you've seen on the videos on Facebook as well. But, a lot of times, too, when you see things on Facebook, people, like to immediately, attack things and negate things and look at the negative side of things. If you do anything bad, it's going to reinforce bad habits. But if you really, truly pay attention, okay, to how we rotate our shoulders through the zone here at Baseball Rebellion, you're going to get better results, and you're going to find that it's going to keep your bat in the zone longer, and then chances of getting more hits definitely will go up there too, okay? So just because you see something where the front shoulder might be moving open, every front shoulder moves in the swing. Okay? Every swing, the front shoulder will move. It's just a matter of how and a matter of when. Okay? If the first thing is your front shoulder yanking open, you're not going to hit the ball with the rack bat anyways. If you can focus on keeping your shoulders closed and in, work in that direction, either up the middle or to your back side, opposite field, then things are going to kind of play out for you a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and our second question comes from Mark. I'm pretty sure this was the same video that he asked us about, but his brilliant question was, how do you guys sleep at night? To which,
so we got this
we actually have an example.
Little demonstration here for you. We got a little foam mat. All right, so I'll just place it right here. In regards to how I sleep.
I think you guys can see this on the camera. Let's,
I think we'll check it out.
Let's take a look. Let's see. Oh, yeah, you're in there. Perfect, Garrett.
So sometimes when I'm really snoring loudly, all right, I flip over and I sleep kind of on my stomach like this.
Now
and there's kind of like a pillow here as well.
Garrett does snore. He's one of the worst
very
I've ever
loudly.
heard.
Sometimes I'll flip around. I'll get on my side with a pillow. You know, if you're laying like this, it's really good to have a pillow in between your legs, too, to create that space. It's really good for you for your back. And sometimes, traditionally, I just lay on my back, and just snore away
that's
just like
when he
this.
snores.
This is when I snore, okay? I just lay on my back and chill, okay? But I know that wasn't the real context of the question, so let me get into the actual the question itself. How do we sleep at night in reference to what we do? Well, Mark, if you've never been in our building, then you don't know what we do, all right? Hitting is something that changes, all right? Like if you got a kid that excessively swings down, we're going to try to get him to swing up. If we got a kid that swings up excessively, we're going to try to swing down. So each approach with each hitter, okay, comes with different problems that you're trying to correct, right? So like me as an instructor, you know, let's say, for example, I do lessons, right? I get a kid for 40 minutes, all right? What's one thing that we're going to work on to try to help correct in those 40 minutes? Now, you know, you internet warriors out there who like to
all the experts.
Chirp, okay? I'm very confident in my abilities as an instructor and every instructor that coaches here as well at Baseball Rebellion that we can get hitters of all age betters. We got Chaz over here. How old's Parker, Chaz?
7 years old.
Yeah, we got Chaz over here working with a 7-year-old, hitting line drives to the back of the cage, having a good old time, okay? So for you to attack us and how do we sleep at night? Well, we sleep really good, all right, because my hitters that I coach, they get better. It's a crazy thing, all right? But if you judge us on one small concept when there's various concepts that we're trying to teach here at Baseball Rebellion, that's on you, Mark, okay?
And I mean, I don't even play baseball anymore. I only played in high school. And but I see the work that these guys put in. I see the research. And so it's my job just to market it. But after I see all the time that they put into researching, like, mechanics and, like, what works best, like, I have full confidence that what they're doing is correct.
Yep, and he trusts us with his younger brother as well, who looks just exactly like him. But the main thing is, guys, is for everyone out there, like, you got to understand what works for a certain hitter. Just because you see us promoting our launch angle tee and trying to swing up and launch the ball in the gap doesn't mean that's the approach that we use for every single hitter, okay? Every hitter is different. A lot of hitters kind of have, you know, some of the same issues, but the way you relay that information to each hitter may change from the age and then on, okay? But then again, too, we got this last thing we're talking about. Dowdy has a bet going. You want to explain that bet for us, Dowdy?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I haven't played baseball since my junior year of high school. I was a PO for that year and mostly PO the year before. But so I bet Chaz earlier this week. We went out to lunch, and I said, Chaz, I bet I can throw 80 right now.
I couldn't even do that.
I have not pitched in about 6 years. So I bet him that I could throw 80 off the mound and I could throw 85 from a running gun. And
that's how you blow something out right
so
there.
Yeah, that's going down on Friday. So
good luck to Dowdy, everybody.
Next week.
Pray for his elbow and shoulder and all that
pray
good
for
stuff.
all of it.
Pray
I've been throwing since Monday, so I've had a good
He's practicing.
2 sessions.
Yeah. Pray for his wallet, too.
Oh, yeah, Chaz says pray for my wallet because Chaz bet me 5-1 odds that I couldn't do it, so that's bold.
Well, Dowdy, good luck, and we hope you win.
Yeah, we'll let you know next week how it goes down, show you a couple videos, and hopefully I can win some money off of Chaz.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, for our recruit breakdown, we got Mike Bello, outfielder from New Jersey. He's got a real violent swing. Let's dive in, take a quick look right here. All right, guys, for this recruit breakdown this week, we got Mike Bello. We got a really good lefty swing here. Let's kind of talk about a couple things he does. So when you talk about moving forward and gaining that ground to stride, pay attention to how far he actually gets out, okay? Now, a lot of times hitters, when they go to load, right, they kind of sway back as well, but you can see his head stays in a pretty stable position. So when he makes this move forward, his vision isn't going to be compromised by that sway back movement. So he does a good job of kind of sitting in this back hip, really simple move, and then you can see that stride and that gain forward is not only with his foot, but pay attention to how far his hips actually move out as well, okay? So his front hip gets all the way out, and then as he lands, you can see once he gets in a good position there, he's kind of already started his swing with his lower half just a little bit, but he does a good job of creating that separation between the shoulder and the hip there, okay? This kind of gives him more of an elastic swing and really kind of makes a good stretch move when he goes. And then you can see as he goes to turn, that head's going to stay in a good spot. He's going to fire that backside, and then when he gets all the way around to contact, I'm pretty sure this was a missile through the 4-hole. This is an ideal position to get at contact. You can see how his front forearm and bat are pretty much lined up perfectly there. His head is behind his back, hip, and knee, and he's in a really good position there. He's doing a good job of bracing up that front leg to help him kind of decelerate a little bit to hit an absolute missile through the 4-hole. Now I'm going to play this swing at full speed here. You can see that move. I really like how as he goes forward, his hands kind of tilt down a little bit, tipping his bat this way. And then you can see right before his foot lands, that barrel begins to work back behind his head that way. Okay, that's going to allow him to get connected early in his swing. If you want to talk about his hand path, he's really working behind the ball and through versus kind of getting steep to the ball right there like most hitters would do. Okay, but you can see as he gets down, he gets that back elbow down to his hip. That's a really good position there. And you can see he's getting on plane pretty early here behind this ball and just absolutely smashing this line drive. Okay, if there's anything that you could take away from Mike's swing here is making an aggressive move forward. Not to where you're like losing head position, doing anything crazy like that, but making a move forward to get to a good athletic position, about 50-50 balance in regards to like your weight distribution on your front and your back side. But you can see, man, this launch position he gets in here really allows him to fire through the ball and crush it just like that. Okay, so be like Mike. Make that move forward, get in a good, strong athletic position, and take some hacks. Thanks, guys.
We're going to talk a little bit about Garrett's week. He's done a lot of lessons. Garrett especially does lots of lessons.
Yeah, a lot of lessons. Everybody, a lot of them.
And so he's going to tell you a little bit about what he's been up to this week.
All right, well, a lot of times, too, you know, my schedule usually starts from 2. It starts at 2 and it goes till 9:20, so in that time frame, you know, I look at my schedule. I have my regular clients that I see on a weekly basis. But one of my favorite kids that I coach, his name's Brody. Okay, he's just this little 9-year-old kid, and the adjustments that he makes on a weekly basis. Like I have him again tonight. I think around like 8 or so. Okay, but the main thing with Brody is the one thing he does so good is he's just got a positive attitude. If there's kids out here that are getting instruction, playing ball, dude, just stay positive, all right? Don't get frustrated. Hitting is already hard enough, and if you get frustrated, you're only going to spiral down a deep, dark hole of despair, and we don't want that, okay? So stay positive, mainly with that. In regards to, the adjustments the kid's making, he came in, he was a little bit timid, not swinging as hard, really kind of second-guessing himself, and as a 9-year-old kid, when you don't feel success right away, it can really be frustrating, okay? But he likes to push past that, and now our lessons, I got him hitting off the spin ball machine. He's doing a lot better in games, and he's having more fun, okay? But that's rule number 1 for all you kids out there, and really anybody who plays a game. You got to have fun, and you got to enjoy kind of the failure side of things. I think a lot of times we want all this success and all this. Enjoy the struggle, okay? I don't play anymore, and I miss the struggle, okay? You kids out there and you players in high school, enjoy the struggle, enjoy the moment, have fun working on something new with all your instructors out there or just working by yourself. But the main thing is, guys, is, if you're not making adjustments to your swing on a weekly basis and you're just hitting to hit and practicing practice, then you're really not getting the most out of your training, okay? So the way we do things here, I think, is a little bit different. I take notes on my players. I make sure whether, they're a young kid or an 18-year-old about to graduate high school, all right? Making that adjustments on a weekly basis is something that you got to do. And my boy Brody out there, hopefully you see this video, okay? You're doing a great job, and I just want to give you a shout-out, man.
All right, every week, all of our instructors come out with new content. Garrett's got some this week. I'm not exactly sure what it's about, but he's going to walk you through it.
Yeah, so this content that I got this week, and you'll see this in the drill video that I'm going to do. It's a front arm constraint drill. A lot of times we talk about the front shoulder pulling off, okay? For good old Marty and Mark over there, this will kind of help you guys out a little bit if you have that issue. But it's a top hand drill to where you're really focusing on working behind the ball and through versus flying open, okay? So what you're going to kind of see in the drill video is me holding a band at my back hip with my bottom hand, and it's really going to be a top hand drill. You can do this from side toss or anything like that. We like to use these flat bats with some softballs. You can also, choke up on your bat and use a one-handed drill with that as well. But a lot of hitters that, have issues of like losing their posture over the plate, you got to have that hunched over posture, not, where you're having, rolling your shoulders forward, but you got to have your chest over the plate so that you can kind of work through the zone better. So it's helped a lot of hitters, especially my high school guys that, have had some major issues of swinging down excessively because of their front shoulder pulling open, and they're not really working out through the zone. This has kind of helped them really feel and understand how they need to react to the ball, whether it's from a side toss or, front toss BP or anything like that.
All right, so we're going to take you to Garrett's drill video, so check that out right here.
All right, guys, we got a front arm constraint drill. You probably saw me doing this same drill kind of before, but holding the rubber band in front. Now I got it wrapped around to where it's at my back hip, and then I reach my top hand or my bottom hand across, and all I'm doing is working my top hand. So if you got a hitter that really likes to lift with their shoulders and pull across with their front side, this drill is going to help them really work behind the ball and stay close. Since they don't have the bat or their hand on their bat with their bottom hand, they're not going to have a tendency to pull down and across, okay? So the rep should look nice and easy like this, where I'm getting in a good position, trying to really work behind the ball. Working under my shoulders versus across is a big thing that hitters need to understand, okay? If you have a hitter that continuously hits rollovers or pushes their hands to the ball because they're pulling their chest off, this drill's for you. Holding the band at your back hip again, loading up from side toss, and trying to crush it right back through the middle, just like that. Thanks, guys.
So that's it for this week. I hope you all join us next week. We'll have, I believe it's JK, he's going to be with us. I know if you watched Chaz's episode, he said JK has a story about Chaz being scared of horses. So
wow,
don't miss that.
Yeah, for sure.
So be here for that. And leave us any comments, any questions y'all have that you want answered. We're happy to answer them. We want to bring you guys what you want to see, so let us know.
Yeah, we might have, some sarcastic responsives for some questions that really don't have any, merit or anything like that.
Okay.
But
we'll make fun of them.
Yeah, we will. We will. Okay. So I'm glad you guys, kind of found out how I like to sleep. I guess that's really kind of a hot topic there on Facebook. But I really enjoyed the show. This was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. Just kidding. All right.
Glad you thought it would
honestly,
be terrible.
No, it was definitely not going to be terrible. But the main thing is, guys, is my last concluding comment is don't just judge something immediately. Do some research, experiment a little bit. But if you just have those blanket statements where you judge those who you don't even really know, that's going to kind of cause some issues, not only for you, but you could be missing out on something that could help your hitters.
Some wise words from Garrett.
I do what I can, guys. I do what I can.
And on that note, we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, appreciate it.